Today I'm going to be showing you how to skin and campfire cook this beast, and this is a Longnose Gar. Now we're going to be doing this the hard way, using my Bowie knife as well as my Leatherman Wave. But in ideal situations, you're going to have 10 snips or some sort of heavy machinery to get through this armor plating. Now this is a prehistoric fish, and it is to be respected. And I don't want to desecrate or dishonor him, but I want to show you just how formidable this armor is. Now with my big Bowie knife, I can chop at it, and those scales are undaunted. I can also stab down on it. So you people that think you can make a spear and go ahead and spear these guys real easily, you are sorely mistaken. This is definitely a fish to be respected. So to start out, I'm going to go ahead and use my Leatherman Wave. You're going to want a piercing blade, so something very thin and very sharp, and expect to need to sharpen it when you're done doing this. So let's go ahead and get started. We go about skinning gar differently than we would other fish. Normally we'd go through the internal cavity, clean things out, but not with gar. Gar can contain eggs. Those eggs are poisonous or toxic, and you want no part of them. So when we're accessing the meat, which are two long fillets or backstraps in the back, we're going to go directly down through the back plate, and at no time will we actually have to go into the internal cavity. So one way or another, you need to pierce through, and we're going to be using kind of a pry bar method to break through each of the scales. And it's going to take a little bit of time. It's not going to be pretty, it's not going to be ideal, but it'll get the job done. So you can go ahead and start at the front plate, and this might take a couple taps to actually pierce the scales. So it's going to sound like bone every which way you do it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get that knife down there. I'm going to angle it back, and we're going to try it from both directions. You can go ahead and break through scales this direction or break through scales the other way. Preference, it's probably going to work better the other direction. But each time I'm pushing that blade back, I'm intersecting with the ribs, and I'm using the internal ribs to pry and to break through scales. And I am using some muscle here. Again, normally you're going to have 10 snips to go through this, all right? But you're not always going to have that. So that's how easy it is to go this direction. Always go ahead and try it the other way, because there's more than one way to skin a gar. All right. See if we can't get some purchase this direction. And I usually find that from tail to head is a bit easier, just with the way the scales are put together. Now gar are extremely slippery. They excrete a goo, but if you go ahead and dispatch the gar, give it half an hour, a lot of times they'll stop making the slime. Okay. And I'm going to have to go ahead and go from head to tail, because he is defeating my blade at this point. Keep on working at it. Try and stay in the very middle, because right now I'm going through the fillet a little bit. It's not going to be the prettiest thing, but you'll get the meat out of it. Okay. Alright. So your armor's going to be holding on to that fillet, and if you got your nice thin knife, you can start working that meat back a little bit, and it should separate pretty quick. You might take a moment to actually go and sharpen up your blade real quick. Run it over the whetstone a few times, because after going through this armor, it's not going to be as sharp. So go ahead and work back on both sides. bit. But you can see that nice, soft meat up under there. That's what we're going for. You're going to work all the way up to the head. And a lot of times we'll go ahead and put the blade right here and come down both sides. And that way, whenever we start to separate the armor from the meat, we can peel this back. Makes it much more easy to access. And just take your time, work at it. And this is where we're going to start accessing the backstrap. Now the backbone's going to go right down the middle, and you're just going to slice down and start separating that meat from the bone. About halfway down, and in this case about an inch, inch and a half, we're going to reach the rib cage. And you're just going to travel your knife little by little, separating that piece of meat from the ribs. And you're just going to follow it all the way back. And as long as your knife's doing this, you're not going to actually get into the internal cavity unless you go all the way up underneath. So there's not really any risk of puncturing. Alright, well there you go guys. There's your complete gar backstrap. Notice this one came out nice and intact. Now the other one came out in 3 pieces because I was using my blade to pry through, went over to the side a bit, kind of tore it up. But if you do it right, especially if you have the 10 snips, you should get 2 beautiful fillets just like that. I'm gonna go ahead and cook these guys up. Ought to make a pretty good meal. This guy, I'm gonna go ahead and throw back in the creek and the crawfish will eat them. I've tried to use these as bait in traps on land and traps in the water, and nothing really likes to eat them other than raccoons. So we'll go ahead and let the fish have them, and time to go cook. Right, the coals for the cook fire are just about there, so we're gonna go ahead and get ready to cook our meal. Now I've collected a few things in order to do so. First off, we're gonna be cooking this on a mesquite log, and this is a rough hewn plank. It's out of green wood, ought to work out really well. We've also collected some wild onion, and it is the middle of winter, but if you know what to look for, and I've got a video on that, it's pretty easy to find them even if they don't have their flowers, so always a good resource to be able to get a hold of. We also have burr clover, and this is pretty awesome and abundant clover, especially here in the winter time. It reminds me of pretty much sugar snaps peas, or at least the pods of the peas. Pretty distinct flavor. They cook up real nice, or you can eat them raw. So what we're going to do is before we go and use our plank, I'm going to wet down our log. And mesquite does hold all that moisture in it. It's going to be very resistant to burning. But if I do it right, I should be able to use this plank over and over and over again, especially considering the girth of this log. I'm going to go ahead and put down our clover. I'm just going to kind of make a bed of it. And our fish is going to be setting down on top of that. Now that will cook down, just like spinach would. Works out real nice. Here's our fish fillet. Beautiful white gar meat. Okay, and it's very, very soft meat. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our onions and I'm going to try and use them to enhance the flavor. Now there's a lot of other herbs and things that I could be using out here in the forest, but they're not easily at hand at this time of year. So use what you got. Salt and pepper to taste if you got it, right? No. Now the rest of these guys, I can go ahead and I can put them underneath the bed. I can do whatever I need to with them. Some people like more onion, some people like less. So after that, we're going to go ahead and put it in the fire. So I'm going to have to tend the fire for a moment, get it ready, and we'll go from there. So our coals for our cook fire are prepped. I've gone ahead and I've split the coals up evenly and formed them up in 2 lines. I've also brought down the level of the earth just a little bit. And the reason for that is that I'm going to be placing this log, or this plank, down in the middle of it. And the idea is that the heat from the coals will slowly radiate sideways. Most of the heat coming up, but just enough to evenly cook this fish after a while. So the big game plan is to set this plank there in the middle, which is a bit difficult because it's so large. If you've ever messed with green mesquite, this is about a 30-pound plank. So I'm going to place it in there. Hopefully I look halfway graceful as I do so. I'll have to check here in just a moment, but I'm pretty sure I still have most of my arm hair. We're going to push the coals around. That's about all you can do at this point, because your fish is cooking. been about 30 minutes. Sun's starting to go down. We've gone ahead and thrown a couple extra branches around. Make sure that the flames are coming up. Keep it coming along. But it's cooking nice and slow. And the smell is really starting to get there. So, gonna have to lose the sunglasses pretty soon. Well, looks to be done, so we're gonna go ahead and pull it out. Graceful as always. Well, it smells amazing. And it looks amazing. Let's go ahead and cut into that. Cooked all the way through. Perfect. So, let's give it a taste. Smells like tastes like a white fish pretty much. You wanna try this? Okay. Well, folks, that is one of the ways that you can go ahead and cook a gar. Pretty easy, didn't take any utensils, though it does take a little bit of time. Like and subscribe, and as always, till next time. Good stuff.